Hey guys, this is OffTopicGames, and we have a deck profile on the new Tachikaze deck with support from the technical booster.
Hi guys, once again, my name is Roger Foster. I'm getting a deck profile on the Tachikazes. Starting Vanguard, we have Baby Chimera. This card is very, very good. What it does is it counterblast one. When the unit is put into the drop zone from rear guard, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you can start your deck for up to one grade 1, superior call it to the rear guard, and they get plus 3,000 until the end of turn. I love, oh yeah, and I'll touch bases on this card later on. Next is I run 4 of the Cannon Fire Dragon. I can't pronounce that last name, it's too long. But he's pretty much one of your Vanguard attacks. You can suck into the soul, draw a card, and give your Vanguard plus 5,000. Next, I run other critical triggers, like the best critical trigger in this deck. Also, Ancient Dragon Dino Dial. It's a pretty interesting name. It's your put into the soul, choose a card from your damage zone and turn it face up. What we call nowadays counter charge. Next, I run 4 draw triggers. It is the Cannon Fire Dragon Sledge Ankylo. Interesting name. You can put into the soul, choose up to one of your Tachikaze units, and give it plus 3,000 until the end of turn. I run 4 heal triggers. Your Savage Healer. Next is your Salvage?
Savage.
The Savage, yeah. Next is your Great Ones. I run 4 of the Strahdfatters. Enough explain about that, what that does. I run 4 of the Savage Guardian. I always think of Savage Garden when I hear this. Yeah.
Unflipper Perfect Guard?
Yes, Unflipper Perfect Guards. I run 4 Cold Dragon Freeze Renix. The reason why I run 4 of these is because just your damage on Flipper, the deck counterblast a lot, and it soul blast a lot. So you really need to unflip damage consistently. So that's why I run 4 of these guys. It does suck to soul charge triggers, but that's not what the deck is all about. And yeah, what it does is when it's put into the drop zone from rear guard, you can by effect on your turn, you can counter charge 1, soul charge 1, and give another unit plus 2,000. And you have to have a Vanguard with Guy in the card name, so your Vanguard has to be the guy of the deck, but I'll tell you that later. Show you that later. I run 2 Savage Heroine. It's weird. Whatever. I like this card because it has a unique ability. For each of your units that are engorged, it gets plus 3,000. So you can have 4, I don't know how, but have 4 units, well 3 or 4 units on the field that have the engorged ability, that are engorged, and including itself, and you'll get plus 3,000 for each one of those units. Moving on to the grade 2s. This card is phenomenal. It has 3 effects. I love it. His name is Blade Dragon Jigsawsaurus. Jigsawsaurus. You counterblast 1, choose one of your other rear guards, and retire it. When it attacks a Vanguard and it is boosted, you can choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And if you do, it gains plus 5,000. And the last ability is really good. If it hits the Vanguard, you get to draw a card. Next unit is Beam Dragon. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. What it does, I want to run 3 of them, and what it does, you can count it when it's placed on the rear guard, counterblast 1, soul blast 1. If you have a Vanguard with Guy in the card name, pay the cost. If you do, this unit get plus 2,000. And it gets the auto ability on the rear guard. When it becomes engorged, you can draw a card and give it plus 5,000. So it's going to be a 16k power by itself when it becomes engorged, which is really good. And the next is I only run 2 Explosive Dragon Sarco Blaze. This is your Silent Tongue for the deck. Only thing, and it's not even a G-break skill, which is really good. So if you wanted to, you know, all the cocky players, you can stay at grade 2 and try to kill your opponent that way. But the skill, it can be very hard to pull it off at grade 2. But it's a good card in late game because your opponent has to have a perfect guard in order to guard the attack. Last but not least, I run 2 Tank Mammoths. Tank Mammoth is really good. The reason being is because whenever you get to the Gaia unit, which I'll explain later, his ability allows him to come back by counterblasting 1, soul blasting 1. This is the reason why I told you that you actually need a lot of soul in the deck, and you need to be able to counterblast a lot. And this is one of the reasons why. Moving on to the grade 3s. This is my favorite grade 3s. I know I like a lot of the rares in the deck, but I love these grade 3s. The reason being is because they have an ability, a gorge ability. So at G-Break 1, whenever they become engorged, for each unit that they kill when they're engorged, they get plus 5,000. So the more triggers your opponent hits, the more times you can kill your own units to gain power. It also has an ability that when it's placed on a Vanguard, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and you look at the top 5 and search for up to 1 engorge units. I run 4 Emperor Dragon Gaia Emperor. That's a weird name, but yeah. This unit is the reason why the deck is as good as it is. What it does is you count whenever a G unit stride, you can counterblast 1. You can choose up to 2 units from your hand and call them the separate rear guard. And if you do, choose up to 2 of your units, and you can give them the ability when this unit is put into the drop zone, you can superior call it back to rear guard. So one of the best units to use this with is the other grade 3 that I mentioned. What he does is if you call 2 of these units to the rear guard, you can give them the engorge ability. The ability to come back if they're destroyed, and it pretty much gives your on that turn it gives you about 4 attacks total for your rear guards. So what happens is you swing with this one on with no skill at the Vanguard or rear guard. And then you can swing at this, swing with this one at the Vanguard, activate his engorge skill to retire him. The grade 3 ability allows him to come back to the field, and then you can swing with the other one and engorge this one, and you activate the engorge skill to kill it, and this one comes back. But after that, the units can no longer come back and they no longer have the ability. And then you can get 1 more attack with this unit and kill off this one, and this unit will not come back. And then if you want to, you haven't even attacked with your Vanguard, you can kill more than 1 unit with this skill. It can be as many as you can possibly kill, but that's pretty much how that little combo will work. Moving on to the strides, I run 1 of the Destruction Tyrant Art Trader. He's come out of the Fighter Collection 1, G Fighter Collections 1. This card is very interesting. It doesn't have an engorged ability, but what you can do is if you stride on top of your Gaia, you can give 1 of your other units the skill to come back. So if you didn't want to do too much on the turn and you're on this unit, you can just attack with 1 of your units and then use this skill to kill it, and this unit will come back again. And on hit, if he hits, he can choose a unit and retire it on your opponent's side of the field. I'll go back to this one too. The next card I run 1 of the Destruction Equipment Hammer Gewalt. I don't understand the name. What it does is you can retire 2 of your units, and if you do, you can choose 1 of your units, choose 1 of your opponent's units in the front row and retire it, and this unit gets plus 3,000. The next unit I run is Destruction Tyrant Twin Tempest. This is your Tempest Bolt for the deck. What it does is you counterblast 2, soul blast 2, choose 1 of your rear guards, choose 3 of your rear guards and retire them. At the end of the battle that he attacked, you may pay the cost, and if you do, retire all units fighters, except the Vanguard. Last but not least, I run 4 Absolute Ruler Gletomy Dogma. We just call him Dogma. No, he does not look like a dog. What he does is you choose a face down card named Absolute Ruler Dogma from Yuji's on turn it face up. And you can choose to retire up to 5 units. If you retire 3 units, the unit will get plus 10,000 when he attacks. Or you can retire 5, and once per turn, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, a Vanguard, if you retired 5 units, you get to restand this unit and it gets -1 drive check. Alright, and that is it for my Tachikaze deck profile.